All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order. We have two additions to the agenda. Under the consent agenda, resignations, Justin Reich and Cupertino Salvador Mejia. And now I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Ryan, Ruda, and Curtis. Been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Jill and Curtis. Been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, recognitions.
Yeah, but it's a time for state competitions, and we had several individuals and groups shine. State competitors in golf, we had a qualifier. Girls swim team, we had relay and individual represent state in Topeka. In track, girls track, we had individuals go to state, and Maddie Schreibergel got silver in the 400. Congratulations, Maddie. Boys state, with second year running, didn't mean to say that, but state champions in boys track. We had Hawk Veneer, pole champion for the state of Kansas. Brody Denniston won the 800, and the boys 4x800 made up of Stoppel, Denniston, Leonard, and Baker brought home the gold. So an exceptional year across the board in the spring state competitors. So congratulations to all.
All right, let's move to financials. Mike.
Okay, on page 1 of the warrants, down towards the bottom, the Garden City Community College or carpentry agreement, $10,000. You guys already approved that, but that's going through our bills this month. And then on page 2, High Plains Co-op categorical aid, $113,622 flow through from the state to them. And down below that, flow through the county to the Holcomb Rec, $188,358.44. And then on page 3, total warrants for the month, $454,594.95. And then on page 4, you notice our cash balance is a little bit higher because we got the county tax money earlier this month. And then page 5, we're getting ready to close out the books, and everything's where we expect it to be expense-wise. And then we have our transfers and then our high school and middle school reports. So if you have any questions.
If there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the financials at $454,594.95.
So moved.
Ryan Ruda and Ryan Schreiber. Been moved and seconded to approve the financials. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, no public comments. So administrative reports, Dr. Meyer.
And a couple, 3 or 4 things to talk about tonight. Lead off with Jerry, Melanie Gifford, and I traveled over to Garden City Community College today to work with Mark Malone and his team. And the main takeaway for me on that meeting was I needed to take my own shrimp to those meetings, and so I brought shrimp here tonight to enjoy in honor of Dr. Ryan Ruda. So pardon me while I eat a piece of shrimp. Now, my report, the Holcomb Elementary School playground, the site supervisor is on site today, and we will be working, gearing up for the cruise arrival the end of this week, right? Okay. And the work will begin later this week, into next week. So by the time I'm back from vacation, it should be done. So that's exciting work. Facilities use project, later in the agenda. I've been working on this for a while. The state of Kansas allows, this might be federal for all I know, but the state of Kansas allows districts have an option to allow open and limited access to your facilities. So a district makes a choice. We either do it or we don't. And somewhere along the line, ESC 363 and every other district with which I've ever been affiliated has decided to do that. We want to do that. And so what that does, that allows anybody who comes along and follows the local policy, they can use the facilities. Well, somewhere way before my time, BS, as I like to say, before Scott, obviously something occurred. And so we have a very robust facilities use policy with a whole slew of 6 different groups are classified by what type of group they are, and then a corresponding facility use fee that comes along with that. I've been looking at this thing for this. Finishing up my 7th year. I've been looking at this thing for about 3 or 4 years, and it just not bubbled up to the top as something to work with immediately until now. And so later on in the meeting, I brought forth a proposal to adjust the facilities use fee structure for Group 1. Group 1 is the group who wants to use our facilities to put cash in their own pocket. Personally, I find that offensive. The facilities, in my mind's eye, are to be used for civic organizations, teams that represent us, a variety of different things, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, whatever, not for someone to make money. Well, this group is Group 1. They are able to do that. Currently, we charge $100 per building per day. So in your packet, you have later on a proposal to adjust that fee structure. Later on, we'll get to that. Comprehensive facilities and grounds assessment, third item on my list besides eating shrimp. A part of the strategic plan, area 4, was to work on our facilities and grounds. A big piece of that is to enter into a partnership with a group to come in and do an assessment of our grounds and our facilities. I've reached out to 3 different organizations, and I'm in dialogue with those different groups. So in July, I'll bring forth the strategic plan for the board to take action on, to codify that, and say, yep, that's our strategic plan. So come by August, I should have a proposal for you to enter into an official partnership with an organization to conduct these assessments. And so then that will have our moving forward to address the areas of the district that need to be addressed, grounds and facilities. Last item on the list is, as soon as this board meeting is finished, my blushing bride and I will hop in our car, drive across the state, and be on a plane in Kansas City to France to meet up with my son who lives in Europe and spend 10, 11 days in Europe. I'll be back here in June 22nd, so I'll be back. So if anyone needs me, use my personal cell phone. The school cell phone is a brick in Europe. My personal phone works. Don't call me, it's 25 cents a minute, but you may text me. Robin knows how to track me down. So go through Robin, she'll track me down. So I'm back to eating shrimp, and that is my report. Mr. Jones.
Thank you, sir.
What's that one app you can use?
WhatsApp.
WhatsApp.
And it's on my phone.
Just for clarification, if we call you, you're charged, we're not doing.
Our reverse charge is to Garden City Community College, but that might get into the shrimp budget.
Into the
at
shrimp
Garden City,
budget.
yeah.
All right, let's move to buildings and grounds.
Nothing further.
Transportation,
Nothing further.
Monica's not here, she's with the family situation.
technology.
And Julie also.
All right, we'll move to principals. Who's first? Jerry Johnson.
Amy doesn't even react anymore. Summertime, Amy.
Most of the time I sit over there and try to remember what I was going to talk about, so put me on the spot. Activities that are going on at Holcomb High School right now, 2 different things that we have is summer credit recovery that takes place, and that's kind of run through our virtual school system. This year, our summer school credit recovery, because we didn't have ESSER money, is we charge kids half the fee. And some of us thought that would be, when we thought about this for the future, thought it would be a good idea, because then some of the kids have something holding them accountable to actually finish these classes off. And so the classes are $300 per class. Students have to pay for that half up front in order to finish, and then the school picks up the second half of it, and then they get their credit recovery if they finish the class during the summer. Mrs. Wickwar facilitates all this through our virtual kind of platform. So we have several students taking advantage of that this semester, or this, I'd say several. We didn't have that many kids that needed it, but the ones that did need it are taking full advantage of it. And we did follow the pricing of free and reduced lunch. So if kids were on the free and reduced lunch, then they got a reduced rate too, for that. So that's taking place. The other thing that's taking place is the activities of summer. When you look at the athletics and the weightlifting and the skill sessions that are going on, several students are up there. This last couple of weeks, it's fun to see them back in the buildings. We have a really strong showing on both the boys and the girls side. And the middle school, it's fun to see. So we're off and rolling in the busy summer. So
Jerry, Tyler.
Just skip it all together.
He's giving me a dirty look.
Y'all like pins and needles over there. I put in my board report, my annual June kind of summative behavior report, kind of breaking down school-wide, any patterns or where our most frequent issues were. As far as major behaviors that were reported and dealt with, the large umbrella of disrespect was our largest one this year. Breaking that down smaller, non-compliance is more the issue that we were seeing, not kids cussing teachers out or anything like that, but non-compliance being reported as disrespect, not following the protocols of the classroom. So we'll use that to, because you'll see that mostly happens in a structured setting in the classroom. We'll use that to drive some of our August PD on classroom management tools that they can use to address that with some kids. As a positive, we only had one incident on the year that would have been a major offense, that would have been any combination of a vape device, alcohol, anything like that. We only had one for the year, and that's the lowest we've had in 6 years. So, positive on that. But aside from that, thank you for your continued support, year 8. I just realized I'm getting close to that year 10 pin, if I make it.
You're getting old.
Yeah. So
What
thank you
what did we hear about your life expectancy?
life expectancy of principal is 3 years.
No, I'm talking about your life.
Oh yeah, that. Well, yeah, I was informed that my birthday was last week, and I've been informed I'm basically halfway dead. So I'm glad I have the confidence of making it to 78. That's real encouraging. But no, thank you for your continued support, and I look forward to your night. Thank you.
Thanks, Tyler. Randy Time.
So I was able to go on the little tour with the guy that's planning what we're doing with the playground. It was so very exciting. So we were talking about how they're going to pour it, and one of his comments was, this is a very large playground and it's a very large area, so they have to pour it in 4 sections because they just won't be able to do it any more than that in one setting or something like that. But one of the things that's a little bit of an issue are the trees, and of course we don't want to lose the trees, but the roots are huge, which I didn't realize because the mulch covers them up. But so Garrett and I were talking about, okay, well, we would have to cut this one because it sticks up so high, and then they started talking about, well, then the tree might fall over because it's not balanced, and I'm like, okay, I don't want any trees falling over because that's like that's about the only shade we have. And so we did kind of talk about an adjustment where we would come from because we had it planned where it would just be one straight line, and it would leave some open for the water line that's underneath, I guess, for the sprinklers. And so we're going to come out a little bit further so that we can leave those roots there and hopefully not hurt the tree at all. So that might be something, I don't know, well, you wouldn't be able to do it now, but we think it would be a great idea to be able to save that. And then he had a great idea about, what was it called?
Molded rubber. And they're basically rubber wood chips and putting the glue together just like you do there, but not making it level and perfect like the actual deal. More kind of what you see in firewood.
Around the roots, molded around the roots. Okay.
Because we talked about what else, we asked what would be good for us to put there, and he said the mulch would be the best. Well, then that's still, I mean, we have mulch all over the sidewalks and the grass all the time. I mean, the wind blows it in there, the kids run through there all the time. So I thought that was a really good idea. And And so that'll be kind of something that looks a little bit different, but it's very exciting to go out there. All of the concrete little slabs that were underneath the slides that were supposed to be so safe, those are all pulled out, I think, almost. Yeah, so I can't wait to see it, and I can't believe they get to start on Friday. So that was very exciting, and I think it's going to look great.
Did he say how long from soup to nuts?
Should be about 1 day of prep and then 4 days to lay.
Okay, if you guys recall when they did Wiley, I mean, they were in and out and done. It was quite the crew. And of course, it was like 110 degrees that time around. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, so he had some great ideas about putting some sort of black line or something to tie the quadrants together. So anyway, we're excited about it. The, whatever he called it, molded, what did you call it?
Molded rubber.
That won't be part of it. So that will be something that may have to come later. So we may have to do a year with the mulch. And then he gave some tips to Garrett and said he would be able to do it. So that would be something that we would begin speaking with Dr. Myers about.
That's just along the tree line.
Yes.
Okay.
Just
all right.
from the.
It's like a 10-foot area.
Yeah.
10
well,
foot wide.
And it basically goes all along that entire side, all the way up to the basketball court.
Okay.
So.
We need
Anyway.
trees in Southwest Indiana.
You guys should go see those roots.
Oh,
They're amazing. I was like, how did I not know they were there? I guess the mulch hid them really well. So. Oh, and the other thing I forgot to mention is that swing set, which looks like it's been there for lots of years. I don't know how many, but we are looking to move that because of, well, just because of that area and where it would be halfway in between both, plus the fact that it's a little closer to the trees than it probably should be. So fingers crossed that that stays together because it's old, very old. So.
We used to just have rubber tractor tires to play on.
Hey,
And sticker patches below the slide to break our fall.
And I'm older than you. We had sand and broken glass back in the day.
There was a broken
And asbestos.
bottle or two every
Yeah,
so often.
exactly.
Thank you, Randy. All right, let's move to, Amy. Almost forgot you.
Summer work has begun at Wiley, and I'm sure other places too, but I only live at Wiley. So flooring is getting done on the north end of the building. So that's looking really good. We had to go with a different type or different flooring compared to what we had because of cost and things like that, but it looks great. Rebecca's crew is done in Wiley. They just have a few things here and there, so they're working their tails off, doing a great job doing their summer cleaning. I did apply for a grant for the 3-year-old preschool playground to hopefully get some actual toddler equipment instead of hand-me-downs from the garage sales that we find. So hopefully we hear something at the end of the summer and maybe we can go forward with that. So that will be awesome if we do. If not, we'll continue looking for other grants to apply for to get something better for our 3-year-olds and PAT program. I think that's all.
And also just to provide some clarity, and I think I wrote to you guys about this, but when she talked about costs and whatnot on the flooring, specifically that's because the flooring we bought a year ago was made by Mohawk. Mohawk is a Chinese company that was right in the target of the tariffs. And so it was like over a 60% increase on that particular tile style. So that's specifically what Amy's referencing there.
So where'd we get the tiles from then?
Garrett can tell you the new ones.
Come from J&M, different company.
Not Chinese.
Made in the US. Basically all it is darker brown instead of gray.
Yeah, more like khaki instead of gray.
It'd be okay. And yeah, it's split by the office, so
I like khaki.
there you go.
Okay.
Make you happy.
Thanks, Amy. All right, let's move to unfinished business and Ryan Schreiber's favorite item, the track.
We'll just skip right to Ryan Schreiber's motion. Anyway, if you recall, we've been grappling with the track issue for multiple years. And I just cards on the table. My intention was to go another year of patching, but the ravages of winter this last winter, it just did far more to the track than we expected. Been working with multiple companies over the last 3 or 4 years, National, Mid-America, and Mammoth. It's come to the point now where we either are going to address the track or not at this point, and my recommendation is to address the track. We have a bid from Mammoth. You have multiple options of replacing the track with replacing the curbing or not replacing the curbing. We completed the geo report from Terragon, and it came back better news than what we expected. Preliminarily, we thought it was going to be somewhere in the price of $94,000 to stabilize the dirt. It came in at $78,000. So, we're saddle broke to say that's a good bid. So my recommendation at this point is to accept the bid from Mammoth to replace the track, including replacing of the curbing. If the board embraces this, the motion should not be for the exact amount, Mr. Jones, because there's always overage in any kind of major construction. It should be, the motion should be for a number not to exceed by 1.3 million, because that gives enough flex in there, because the bid with the stabilization is 1.147. So I'd come in at not to exceed 1.3, and that'll get it done. If the board embraces this, the money's there. Just have to be super careful next year with the expenditures to the capital outlay. We're looking at 6 to 6.5 rollout this year, so that translates to $600,000 to $650,000. We'll look to put that in the capital outlay. We anticipate generating in revenue anywhere from $800,000 to $900,000 in additional revenue for capital outlay. So that replaces that. But we still need to pay attention to, not just spending. We never spend money willy-nilly anyway, but pay particular attention to get the funds as healthy as possible moving down the pike. So they would start on it in July. With this timing, as I'm driving across the state, I've got Bob Horton. That's the guy with whom I've been working on this. I've known Bob for over 20 years. I will call him and say, it's a go, or I'll call him and say, it's not a go, one of the two, depending on the vote that takes place. We don't need to pick colors or any of that kind of stuff tonight. They just need to get in their scheduling. There's break ground in July. We obviously would have to do they call it a plywood bridge over the track itself for the cheerleaders, and so they can perform, do their thing during football season, and also for the players to get back and forth, onto the field itself. So, with the plan to utilize the track next track season. So, that's the information I've got. And so, once again, I'll go back to it. I recommend the board accept the bid from Mammoth to replace the track, including replacing the curbing.
I'll make a motion to replace the track with curbing not to exceed 1.3.
Casey and Sean. Been moved and seconded to accept the bid for Mammoth to replace the track, including replacing the curbing, not to exceed 1.3 million. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. And let's move to property and casualty insurance, just what I wanted to talk about.
No, you want to talk about this. After years of having, not winning in the realm of property and casualty insurance, if you recall last year, we were facing, 68% increase. Trent came to me this year and had to pick me up off the ground, because we have an actual decrease we're looking at in property and casualty insurance this year. So Trent Speck from Iron Insurance is here to talk to you through the ins and outs of why we're receiving, not facing, a $32,779 decrease in our property and casualty insurance premium. Trent?
Thank you, Scott. Once again, Trent Speck with Iron Insurance Partners. I am bringing good news tonight for the first time in probably 10 years-ish, probably. It's been rough. The marketplace overall has been rough the last 5-6 years, as you may or may not know, on your personal lines, on commercials, all the way across the board. This year is kind of settling out overall, I would have to say, on the commercial side and the personal side. With the Kicks pool, there was 130 schools in it last year. I think there's closer to 160 or 165 currently. So they have well over half of the schools in the state of Kansas. So as you know, with insurance, the more volume, more schools, it helps with your premium costs and claims expenditures. So all that to say that it was a decrease. I don't want to get into the weeds of it, but pretty much they could go to London and negotiate on the reinsurance marketplace, and that's kind of what happened here. So it did go down last year. I think it was 366,251. This year is 332,472.07. So it did go down by 34,000 ish. So overall, it is positive. So it's good to see. Also, I wanted to hit on the claims process, because last year it seems like yesterday, but it's been a year. I moved 3 schools personally that I was an agent of to KICS. The 4th one had the option; they stayed with EMC. The 5th one did not have the option. KICS did not offer them a proposal. All that to say, one of the schools that did move to KICS had a claim. It is a slow movement, but it was a major claim. It wasn't a $100,000 claim. It was about a $1.8 million claim 2 months after they switched. So I'm sure it made KICS really happy. But all that to say, the difference of that 1.8 million in claims, it saved the school district $600,000 by moving their insurance. $300,000 on the deductible side, and then $300,000 on the replacement compared to actual cash value on the roof. So all that to say, when the board met, I went down to the school, and it was a little bit closer than USD 363 on the price wise. So it was a little bit easier decision for them, but still, nonetheless, for $14,000, what the difference was for their school, it saved them $600,000.
So with all that, Mr. Jones, I recommend the board approve the bid from Iron Insurance and KICS for our property and casualty insurance for next year in the amount of $332,472.
So moved. Second.
Ryan, Rita, and Curtis. They moved and seconded to approve the bid from Iron Insurance and KICS for property and casualty insurance for next year in the amount of $332,472. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? On to workers' comp.
In the world of insurance, we give it
stick with it.
and we take it away. So we reap the benefits of property and casualty with work comp. We're looking at an increase because of the mod. It takes 3 years for the claims to get off, and we had 3 shock claims a couple of years back. So even though we're doing well with our safety committee, we only had 5 claims this year. I mean, we're doing a good job. Our mod still went up. So the increase for work comp is going up by 9,278. Trent can give you more information about it, but that's the Cliff Notes version of it. If everything remains the same, like I said, we've only had 5 claims this year. Next year, our mod should go down, assuming good works. You'll continue. But that's where we're at right now. If you have anything to add to that?
Nope, that's pretty much what I was going to say. You're with RAS, is an acronym, is First Dakota Indemnity Company, the longer version. But they're a great company. They do healthcare, schools, all across the state of Kansas, multiple states. But with that, the mod did increase from 1.49 last year to 1.65, like Dr. Myers claimed. You have 3 shock claims coming off. As you know, 1 year comes off, 1 year comes on. So it should theoretically go down next year as long as there's any more claims at the same level. So, but with the safety committee, to Dr. Myers' credit, he mentioned that there's 5 claims this year. The last year when we started the safety committee, there was 12. So we have seen a big decrease. So we're hoping for even smaller next year.
And and what we're being aggressive. We created a safety committee. We meet monthly or quarterly, and then we have quarterly professional learning opportunities for the classified staff on just safety things. And it seems to be working. Of course, tomorrow 5 of us could fall down and have more claims. But the 2 things that you'll know if I had an aneurysm, if I ever use AI to write something, or if I ever turn in a work comp claim. It's just not going to happen. But anyway, we've only had 5 claims this year, so I expect a year from now the mod to even go down further. This year, though, I recommend the board approve the district workers' comp insurance be awarded to Iron Insurance through RAS for the bid of $73,390. Mr. Jones?
So moved. Second.
Ryan Schreiber and Curtis. It's been moved in second to approve the workman's comp insurance with Iron and through RAS for $73,390. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And on to student athlete.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, you're done. You don't wanna do the student athlete insurance?
No, this is Robin.
I do not want to do that.
Okay, thanks, Trent.
Thank you, guys.
This is an annual action that we take care of. We offer for student athlete insurance. It's something we've had way before my time. And so our group that we do this to is K&K Insurance. Annual premium for this year is $10,970. It's gone down from last year. You have the record of claims, and then you can see the year-to-year annual premium amounts, and it's actually gone down from last year to this year. I recommend the board purchase low-option student accident insurance coverage from K&K and include the $1 million catastrophic coverage for the total cost of $10,970.83.
So moved.
Second.
Jill and Brian moved in second to do our student accident insurance coverage from K&K Insurance with the $1 million catastrophic coverage for a total cost of $10,970.83. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, student drug testing program contract.
All right, this also is an annual action. The student drug testing program we put in play, 5 years ago, I think it was. It's the time of the year to re-up it. The contract for this year is the same as last year for $5,760. They come out 9 times a year, 15 to 20 kids get tested. We had 10 hits this last year. Of those 10, 8 of those were repeat offenders, if you will. We actually had fewer hits this year than the previous year. I recommend approval of the contract for student drug testing with Sport Safe Testing Services for $5,760.
So moved. Second.
Ryan Ruda and Ryan Schreiber. Moved and seconded to approve the contract for student drug testing with Sport Safe Testing Services for $5,760. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, overnight trip.
We have an additional overnight trip request that came to us after the last board meeting. This is for the high school wrestling program. They took one last summer. This year is to Gothenburg, Nebraska, for skills building trips to take place June 25 through 27. The only expense tied to the district is for transportation. I recommend board approval of the overnight trip request as presented.
Second.
Casey and Jill. It's been moved and seconded to approve the overnight trip for wrestling as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, handbooks.
Yeah, 3 more handbooks for board scrutiny or approval. Faculty handbook, substitute teacher handbook, evaluation handbook. For all these, it was dates need to be updated, and then we update names in the substitute handbook. So nothing substitute besides dates and names. So I recommend board approval of the handbooks as presented.
So moved. Second.
Ryan Ruda, Ryan Schreiber. It's been moved and seconded to approve of the handbooks as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, donation.
If you'll recall, a month ago, we talked about the grant that her name is Kona, had written for the K organization to fund the transformation of the tennis courts into a pickleball court in concert with the rec department. Well, the funding source for that is the Kansas Association for Youth Alumni Network. It comes to us in the form of a $4,000 donation. So even though she wrote for and received this grant, technically is a donation. So I recommend the board approve of the donation as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Jill and Ryan Schreiber. Been moved and seconded to approve the donation as presented. All those in favor say aye. Opposed?
Dr. Myers, when will they start looking?
I don't know on that, I've not heard. It'd be the summer activity. Now that we have the money, we started.
You got hankering for some pickleball.
I do.
Are they aware that they'll have over there anymore?
I'm sure they're not, but I'm sure there will be.
They hadn't used that service for a long time. We took that service out when we changed all those poles between the middle school and high school 2 or 3 years ago, so there's the power that was feeding the lights at the old tennis court.
I'm sure we will make note of that and let them know we can't fight City Hall or the electric company, so we will let them know.
Thanks, Curtis. All right, let's move to new business and close FY25 financials.
This is the annual activity, just allows, the board allows the superintendent and Mike Davis to close out the books and make the transfers here at the end. There's always a little bit of money, little is a relative term, in the general fund and LOB. We sweep it into other accounts to close out the fiscal year. So all I'm asking for you, and we're looking at 6 to 6.5% rollout amount between the two funds. Recommend a motion to be made to allow the superintendent authority to close the district's financial books at the end of the 25 fiscal operations and make the recommended transfers as they, it's basically we're going to go to capital outlay and or contingency reserve, but looking capital outlay for everything I talked about earlier.
So moved.
Ryan Schreiber and Curtis. Been moved and seconded to allow the superintendent authority to close out the district financial books at the end of the 2025 fiscal operations and make the recommended transfers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, HRC board appointment.
The USD 360 Board of Education has the opportunity to appoint a person to serve on the Holcomb Rec Commission. We advertise in the Telegram to get, elicit people who are interested in this, in serving. And this time around, it's a 4-year term, by the way. This time around, we received 1 letter of interest, and you have that in your packet, from Jordan Walk. So I recommend a motion is from the board to appoint community member, this time Jordan Walk, to the HRC Board of Directors to represent USD 363.
So moved.
Right. Ryan Ruda and Ryan Schreiber. Been moved and seconded to appoint Jordan Watt as the HRC Board of Directors representing USD 363. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Food service.
This is a part of the annual action of providing food service or having food for our students. This action the board is getting ready to address, provides meals for students who are eligible for free and or reduced meals, and also sets us up for subsidies for the meals that students pay. But in order to reap that benefit, a motion is requested to approve the continued participation in the federal school lunch program for the 25-26 school year.
So moved.
Ryan Ruda and Jill. Moved and seconded to approve the continued participation in the federal school lunch program for the 25-26 school year. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, meal prices.
This also is an annual action. We're sitting pretty good in the food service fund, but with the increased prices across the board for tomatoes and basically everything, I'm working with Monica and Keisha to increase basically every meal across the board by a nickel. So that's what you'll see here. I recommend a motion is requested to approve the meal prices as presented for the 25-26 school year, which is increase everything by a nickel.
Second.
Jill and Ryan Ruda. Been moved and seconded to approve the meal prices as presented for the 25-26 school year. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, food service procurement program plan.
The procurement plan is we have to have something in place that says we go out and shop for the best plan we can get, or best deals we can get. The lead-off matter for this particular area of work is we're part of the Greenbush Purchasing Co-op, so we run the bulk of our purchasing through them. Then we also have a bid process for milk and other food service or food products. That will come to you next month. And then a part of this plan is that if we're not able to get certain things through our normal suppliers, then we can go shop at stores near us. But it all has to be codified in a procurement plan. That's what this is. So I recommend approval of the 25 food service procurement plan as presented.
On average, maybe how much it saves us?
How much, I'm sorry, what?
How much it saves us being in this school?
In a purchasing co-op, I really cannot tell you that, Ryan, but the purpose of a purchasing co-op is they go out and get the best deals because they buy in bulk. I'm not trying to be glib. They don't buy a potato, they buy a ton of potatoes, literally a ton of potatoes. And then they send them across the state. So it's bulk purchasing.
It's a good deal.
Yeah, it is.
So moved.
Ryan Trivogel and Casey.
I'm sorry. Finish that, no.
Been moved and seconded to approve the 2025 food service, probably 2025-2026 food service procurement plan as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I will tell you one little trivia. You can thank Bob Dole for the state of Kansas. We get to do it this way, where we just go out and buy, or we X amount of dollars to go get stuff, right? In other states, they have to go buy, literally, a bag of potatoes. And so they show up. You say there's a big, huge, I think it's, what do they call it? When there's money buried in bills, it's called pork. Yeah, pork. They have to buy X pounds of meat. Where we get to just spend, we get cash to do it. You may thank Bob Dole for that, because he is the bigwig on the ag department stuff. Well, I'm sure there's no, yeah, I'm sure there's not. It's all, we're talking to government, I'm from the government, I'm here to help.
Yeah.
So that's why Kansas gets to use cash and buy how we want to. But anyway, I'm sure Tennessee is not happy about that, but we won't tell them.
They didn't have Bob Dole.
They end up Bob Dole, yeah.
They had Al Gore. There you go. All right, let's move to resolution for issuing citations on school property.
All righty, about a month or so ago, the new chief of police came to me and said, hey, would you guys be interested in this? I brought this to you, if you recall, last month, and asked, hey, any objections to this? I think it's a good idea because it's a safety issue. Basically, it boils down to, would the board be okay with law enforcement issuing traffic violations on our school grounds? I did not know that they couldn't. I thought it was public property. But no, au contraire, mon frère. I'm going to France, so practice my French. It's not public property, it's private property. So in order for them to do so, we have to pass a resolution. So I've got a resolution here, pass it through the KESB lawyers. They say, yep, it looks good, it works. And so this would be the first read. The way we pass resolutions here is someone tonight would say, I recommend the board approve the first reading of the proposed resolution. If that occurs, then next month I'll come back for the second read, and then that would make it the law. And so then it come after the July board meeting, Jean Johnson had better not be parking against the yellow, because she'd get a ticket. Remember that? I don't know if you guys recall that or not. So,
yeah, in front of middle school.
Exactly.
I got yelled at for that.
Well, now you'll get a ticket if the board embraces this. Anyway, I recommend the board approve of the first reading of the proposed resolution.
So does this have to do with just like bad parking?
Bad parking,
we may
speeding.
have a lot of tickets coming my way. Because I have two daughters that
Well-
do not park.
We'll have the Tri-Vogel proviso.
One of them, but she'll probably still be in
But
the
park
park.
for her and it'll be fun.
I got a call from Rob Stieberger one time. He wanted to know if my son drove a older Ford Ranger pickup. And I was like, yeah, why? He's like, well, it's on the 50-yard line in the football field.
Somebody carried
Can you
it.
come up here and get it? And I said, you don't need the key to start it, just get in it, Rob, and drive it off. They're in Colorado at the cross-country camp, so I don't know who put it over there. He might have got a ticket for that.
Not legally, he didn't. But anyway, I recommend the board approve the first reading of the proposed resolution.
Sean and Jill. Been moved and seconded to approve the first reading of the proposed resolution. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Okay.
Yep.
All right, let's move to
Wait,
adjustment.
wait.
Is it, so it's 5-2?
I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay, 6-1. Okay.
But did you get the vote?
Yeah, 6-1.
Okay.
All right, let's move to adjusting facilities usage fee assessment.
Okay, as I talked to you during my report, this has been an ongoing issue, like kind of in jest, as Robin brings in the facilities use forms for me to sign. It's the bane of my existence. We are looking to fix this. It's going to become a Google Doc at some point in time, Google form or whatever, Google something at some point in time. You have the actual facilities use agreement fee structure in your packet, okay? And you'll see there are groups 1 through 6. I've been at this long enough to know when you receive something like this and something like this is put into policy, it's in response to something. Something occurred down there, and I'm here to tell you, I've been a superintendent at 3 different districts. This is the only district I've seen that has this detailed of a fee assessment for facilities use. Good, bad, and different? Not making that judgment. I'm just saying I've not seen a district with this detailed of an assessment, a fee assessment before, previously. We have a variety of groups who come forward, whether they're rec sponsored, not rec sponsored. We have a slew of people who want to utilize the facilities for birthday parties or wedding receptions or celebrations of life or whatever. And so Robin looks at what group this would happen to be and say, oh, that looks like that's group 4. And then we look down at the bottom, oh, group 4, arrange, no fee. We sign it, we check on the facilities with the principals. There you go. It's on that date, we're moving on down the road. So then, how this really came to a head was about 2 months ago. I had a call from a person, turned out not to be a patron, and in my ignorance, I did not know that. And so after we'd worked it all around, turned out we were allowing somebody to use one of the facilities for a birthday party. Yeah, we do that. Well, come to find out, it was a patron from a different district. Now that's under my skin because of the way this occurred. I don't know why somebody from a different district wants to use our facilities for a birthday party. And so that got me to thinking, because we've been messing with this for a few years, I'm thinking, and I called our lawyers and said, is it possible to have a fee structure for our patrons and then have a separate fee structure for not our patrons? You know, say somebody from Wichita wants to have a birthday party here. And they said, sure, you can do that. I don't know why somebody from Wichita would want to have a birthday party here, but sure, we can do that. So I started messing with that. And then I thought, wait a second, what if one of the kids who wants to come to the birthday party sleeps in Holcomb? Is that a patron? Well, that might want to come to the party. So I kind of put it away. Thought, mess with this later on. Got plenty of other lawns to mow. And then something else happened. A group came forward from Wichita, who's in group 1, wanting to make money on us, wanting to have a basketball tournament here in the fall. And somebody got talking to him and said, you want to do that in the fall? Well, how about do it in the summer too? Let's do it in the summer. And so that came to us. I think, so I'm already looking at this. I already got kind of stuck in my teeth. But how can we adjust this thing? Then it hit me. And let's just adjust the fee assessment at this point for just group 1. Just group 1. Later on, we will dig into this entire thing. And I'm telling you, where the war is group 2. Group 2 is where the travel teams reside. And I'm here to tell you right now, we are not following board policy. Board policy says in group 2, if a social group wants to use, that's a birthday party, wants to use Wiley Gym or Kitchen or whatever for a birthday party, it's $30. All right, come do that. But also there is traveling team. So following the letter of the law, and it's law, it's akin to state law, every practice should be $30. Okay, that would set the world's hair on fire. So I'm not looking to do that. So what I am looking to do is adjusting group 1 tonight, the fee structure. Then coming along, having board presence on a committee, along with ADs and myself, maybe a traveling team coach or 2, and come up with something that makes sense. I don't know. I don't know how many travel teams we have. Robin, any idea? A bunch. And so is it $30 every time they want to practice? I don't want to be in charge of that. Is it $30 a week? I don't want to be in charge. I don't know what it is, but it definitely is not what we're doing in group 2. But that's not what we're here tonight. That's not what we're here to do. What we're here to talk about tonight is group one.
So
Okay?
what's the difference between what you have written on the proposal, and the proposal of 1,000 per room per day?
What is right now, group one is $100
Right.
per day per
Your proposal is 1,000.
$1,000 per room per day. Then that's just the number I put on a piece of paper for you. So, and do we want people to use our facilities? Absolutely, we want people to use our facilities. Do we want people to use our facilities to put money in their own pocket? Absolutely not. Scott Myers is opposed to that. I think it's offensive. Now, I don't get to vote.
Not to complicate things, but the other piece of this, and maybe it's just, that's the rate that's been determined, but is that all encompassing of custodial costs for setup and cleanup, for IT requests?
Oh, yeah.
Infrasound?
That would more than cover it, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Well, $100 more than covers it. Yeah. $1,000 definitely catches attention.
What about throwing a deposit out there and lowering the rate?
Sure. This is not set in stone, okay? And this is accelerated. Normally, how I like to do this kind of thing is bring it to you in my report, which I did tonight, then throw it on as a discussion item, and then bring it back the next month as an action item. And I realize this is accelerated, and I apologize for that, but we have requests right now.
So the way it's written right now, can we deny any and all requests as we see fit, or do we have to allow them? If they come to us, do we have to let them rent?
I think we have to allow it because we have open and limited access statute. We're following the open and limited access statute. Because this all is under that umbrella. Now, the board could choose, and I don't recommend this, doing away with the open and limited access approach.
Then we'd have to approve everything.
Well, no, we rewrite, we want the open and limited access, but in order to use it, it'd have to come before the board. You don't want that, I don't want that. It would bog down the board. But you do need to understand, and I mean, the board needs to understand, with open and limited access, we think it's the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. You can think of any group, the absolute most offensive group you can come up with that is absolutely legal, and we cannot turn them down, as long as it's open and limited access. And I'm not in favor of doing away with open and limited access. The greater good is served by having open and limited access. But if there's a group that wants to come along that says, our mission is to burn the American flag, that's what we do, it's legal. We can't turn them down because we have open and limited access. I'm not recommending you do away with openly limited access. I'm also not recommending it comes before the board every single time, because we get a slew of these requests. You wouldn't believe how many we get. But I wrote $1,000. The board has the right to say, nah, $250, nah, $500, no, leave it at $100, whatever.
You do a deposit, you run into issues there of determining when and how to get the deposit back.
And also, by the way, this doesn't just end, I mean, we're talking about the group one. This does not end with, people have fobs, doors are left open, and to this day, nothing's happened. But 2 weekends ago, Wiley Gym was propped open over weekend. How, why, I don't know. We think we know who had it last, but the person who was in it after that had not gone through the proper channels to use it. We have now, currently, it was last night, we had adult men playing basketball somewhere in this gym, or in the place without any approval. Somehow or other they have a key. Don't know how they have a key. It did not go through proper channels. Nobody signed anything. You wouldn't, yeah, so
Yeah, 1,000 seems steep.
I don't disagree.
If
But-
we did a deposit thing, I mean, we'd have to put somebody in charge of
Right.
going through it and be like, well, they don't get their deposit back, they'll do.
And I'm not looking to add work to anybody's, you know.
Yeah, I don't disagree as far as using as a deterrent for those that they don't want to pay the rate, they don't have the access.
I generally, Ryan, I generally do not like the idea of the board writing policy at the table, but I did not follow my normal procedure. I wrote down a number, just write down a number. If the board wants to say that's too much and wants to put a different number on that piece of paper, I'm fine with that, literally fine with that. So if somebody wants to throw out a number, I'm good with it. I'll throw out a number if you want me to.
My opinion is 500 a day. I mean, I'm trying to think of it in context of what we have for the rental space of our facilities.
So it'd be in line with yours.
Yeah,
And I will tell you, the first number I had written down was 500.
So this group one has like agent, like our basketball tournament, no.
Yes.
Basketball tournament and make the money off of it. I just making sure.
Yeah.
So it'd be 500 for like they're using the elementary gyms, 500 if they're using.
500 a gym.
So 500, 500, 500, 2 days, so 1,500 a day, times two. I mean, so $3,000 to use our gym. And the ones that I know of, that's a drop in the bucket. They're still putting money in their pocket.
What it takes is one idiot to screw up a gym floor.
Darn tootin', Sean.
That $500 ain't shit.
I agree with that.
Leave it 750, call
So
it good.
the Finney County Fairgrounds is a public facility that can be rented. And entities that come in there and use that for profit, they pay us, I think they pay us a fee plus a percentage of
Profit.
their gross. Like when the
Like that gun show.
like the gun show, when they come in there, or when they would have the carnival in there, we would get 10% of the carnival tax for the Finney County Fair.
I mean, Larry Johnson has to rent that building for auctions. I don't know what he gets on that.
4-H building is, I believe, $1,600.
What?
And I don't know if there's in addition to that.
I'm just saying that if we had a fee plus a percentage,
Cleanup charge.
it would be, if somebody was coming in here and gonna make $20,000, then we would, the fee would be adjusted to whatever their profit margin is.
But I'm not opposed.
How are you gonna know what that is?
Well, you basically enter into an agreement with them like the county does, and they have to provide you with receipts. And show that they're
And I'm not opposed to that down the road, but as far as for tonight goes, is set a fee and then that'd be part of the work that we do down the road.
So we've got to give these people an answer before the next board meeting?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then tell them go.
We would be denying the open and limited access policy that we have in place. Or we would not be following it. We'd be breaking another board policy. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Knowing.
I say at least 1,000 then until we figure out what we're gonna do.
Ryan, what's your number that you had over there?
we do it by hour in the various spots. So like for the gym, it would be 200 an hour. Then we also include custodian on top of that, 30%.
And ours is just put into that.
Yeah.
Let's say 750.
In that case, $1,000 a day is the lowest compared to.
They're like insurance.
They have to provide.
Liability insurance that they have to provide.
They
and all
provide
that
their own
stuff.
insurance.
Yeah, if it's a sporting thing, they have to provide the insurance.
Or like get it through the rec or something.
Well, if it's a rec covered thing and it's free.
Right.
But if they're not sponsored by the rec, but yes, they have to have the insurance.
Yes.
But in this kind of situation, it's not by the rec, so it becomes group one, then they have to provide the insurance, liability insurance.
Stay with 1,000 until we come up with a better option.
And we will work this, be my swan song.
So was that a motion, Dr. Ruda?
I'm seconding Schreiber's motion.
Oh, okay, so it was Ryan Schreiber and Ryan Ruda. All right. It's been moved and seconded to move to the proposal for group one to $1,000 a day per room, gym, on the facilities use.
Yeah, just group one under the fee assessment schedule.
Yep. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Let's see what you got here.
I think I need 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Do we need anybody other than you?
Tyler.
Okay,
We'll need Tyler.
so let's go in for 15 minutes with Dr. Myers and Tyler at 8:05. Casey and Jill. So move the second to go into executive session for 15 minutes at 8:05 with Dr. Myers and Tyler. All those in favor say aye. Opposed?
When the Tyler.